Hello and welcome back to my channel, Tarot with Anne-Marie. Hi, how are you on this Thursday, the 8th of the 8th in 2024? That's all the 8s, isn't it? 8, 8 and 2024 also becomes number 8. So hope you're having a wonderful day, and we also, with the number 8, 8 of Cups for you tonight. 8 of Cups on the 8th of the 8th. Numerology, how wonderful. Some keywords for you that I'm going to start with. This is a card of turning your back on past, maybe letting go, maybe having had enough. It's the end of a cycle. Maybe it's a bit of a wake-up call. Don't forget, we're in the suit of emotions, so it's all about how we are feeling. So this may be a quest for some soul searching, finding one's soul, a voyage of personal discovery, looking for your own truth, and self-analysis, maybe finding the facts. Maybe you've lost interest. So it's one of those cards where we can look at things and say, how does it make me feel? And this often comes up with the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is showing us 8 neatly stacked cups in the foreground there. And our figure, a man, is turning his back on the cups in the darkness and walking away. So the cups show an emotional connection to a situation which he has in his life or it has had in the past, which has brought emotional rewards, but now it's lacking something. And his cups have been carefully cared for, tended to. Look how neatly they are stacked. This shows us he's not throwing anything away. However, there is a gap between the cups on the top row, showing that there is a vital missing ingredient. He is going to walk away from the security of the situation to find that missing piece. And they do not hold his attention as they are right now. So here, he's setting out on a journey, focusing on his search for that missing cup. And whichever way you want to look at it, the Eight of Cups fall into 5 cups with a set of 3. So we've got a set of 5 next to the set of 3. There's 5 at the bottom and 3 at the top. The 3 at the top can be seen as the pain or the celebrations or the joys that needs to bring everything together in his quest for happiness. Or that he's built a life upon past disappointments, as in 5 of Cups, built connections, and has deep affections and developed those affections, but he still is looking for something to bridge that gap and fill that space. So it shows the Eight of Cups is all about pursuing, looking for that 9th cup, as if there was something missing emotionally from our figure's life. And although the card shows darkness, and probably is daytime, because if we look, we've been shown a solar eclipse. So the new covering moon is bringing a time of change that can be deeply felt emotionally, where we need to leave old cycles of life or an old part of ourselves behind. It brings a time of inner awareness, and we can't always see everything. So the energy of the Sun's card would be mostly hidden here, because we've got that watery number 8, which is causing some restrictions and constraints emotionally, and probably making him feel confined. So that eclipsing moon would prompt the man's need for a change. It's like an instinctual calling, and he needs to move and make those changes before the light fades completely, or the sun returns and blinds him with optimism and makes him stay put. The little light that he's got is showing him the way forwards, and the man will feel the confusion of the moon card. Remember, the moon is a card of making us feel our emotions heightened, and his subconscious will prompt that to be a change. And it's probably very deeply felt and needed. So this deep emotional pull to leave the old cycle of life or the old self behind. And the moon is representing a window of opportunity that allows possibilities to be felt. So the man might not be able to see a clear path secure situations do have limitations, and sometimes they need to be left or challenged to allow for more growth. Now, he's setting off because of that missing gap, which simply needs to be filled. He seeks satisfaction and completion, even if he is puzzled by the unknown destination. And that moon is watching him with a sad, tight-lipped expression. And he may be wondering why he could leave such a lovely collection of cups and go in search of something new, which may equally be a thought for everyone that knows him. So the man is not full of illusions, nor is he deluded, but more driven to seek more to fulfill his life. We know that by the red boots and the cloak that he is wearing, which is symbolic of pushing him forwards, full of desire to find out what is missing. His steps will be purposeful with those red boots, but maybe without a real sense of direction. And if we look, the man is walking uphill to reach higher ground. There isn't a pathway. It's grass and rocks, and that might trip him up. He's also in some form of darkness there, so his journey could be on very rocky terrain, and maybe even with that wooden walking stick, it may be difficult to keep moving forwards. The walking stick can be seen as a wand, and that would be seen as fiery energy taking him forwards with action and with the desire and passion to create that missing part of puzzle. So he feels the potential that is ahead of him, and he's determined to move forwards in that path. He will feel the potential in the journey ahead of him, and he's forging his path, determined to keep moving forwards, or that red. If we look, we can see water, which are rock pools, but they're very shallow, and that shows symbolically a desire to escape any stagnation, where nothing can escape the tides. And he's walked through this water, and that represents non-flowing emotions. So those stale feelings that's made him feel discontent. So he knows he needs to keep moving forwards to avoid damaging or losing his neat stack of lovely 8 cups. So he's starting his journey hoping for new horizons, new perspectives, answers, opportunities, or even a new road to travel. This card brings an inner urge to make more of ourselves or our situation in life, and we may not know what or why, but we seek to add to what we are in our vitality or what we have achieved for deeper fulfillment. Being the number 8, in this case, this card is about change, challenge, and determination. So it's about our figure trusting his intuition, and he can improve what he has, so he's willing to step outside of the comfort zone to find it. If you draw this card, you may feel that you're in a bit of a deep rut, and all the ruts can be climbed out of, which will allow you to look for a new perspective. So this is a card of having faith and looking for a new outlook. It is there, even if we're confused about what we might be seeing. The 8 of Cups shows the desire to leave or change what is a secure situation, like a relationship, because we have Cups, which is about emotions. Maybe we've outgrown it, or maybe we just seek to grow or evolve. And so do our needs and our goals. And that's important. And we can feel the need to risk our security in order to find change or even growth. And it's usually driven by a deep sense of dissatisfaction, and it's felt on a very deep and an emotional level. We think that now is a time for us to maybe cut the ties, break free, so that we can find out what's missing in our lives. But it's the winds of change that need to blow back into stepping outside of our comfort zone, growth. So this card shows that the current needs to have courage and to realize that feelings or personal requirements do change and shift in different time frames. So our figure is admitting that they need more and they need to create more in their lives for themselves so that they can feel more satisfied. And keeping a situation alive, we need to leave our apparent security in order to grow, even when the outcome is not clear. That this has been realized. It can only sometimes prevent barriers to growth, and the magic ingredient is needed, and that's why we go on that search, that emotional quest to find it. And this leaves us feeling restless for change, to improve what we already have. And so you might be feeling as if you're stuck in a rut, and you have an idea for a solution, even though you're entirely in the dark, you're still willing to seek that change, to see if you can gently explore some sort of fresh perspective. We probably have our independence and space and needed because we're tired of old routines, bored, a challenge. Something outside of our established situation is very much required. So the Eight of Cups often turns up in a reading when you've lost interest in something in your life that once had great importance for you. And nothing terrible has usually happened. We just don't feel the same anymore. And what once captivated us has changed, and it's lost its fascination or its appeal. And so this card teaches us a lesson of impermanence, which is often very challenging to accept. We know what we want and what will make us happy, and then we need to try to go and find it. But we're also trying to hold on to what we've already got. So we expect that things and people and situations are going to stay the same. But that's almost impossible because it's an emotional card, and water will always find the way in which it wants to go. So it can slip through our hands just like sand. And if nothing ever changed, the world would be indeed boring and nothing new would ever happen. So our world would become incredibly tiny and we'd never be exposed to anything new in experience or in people. Some keywords. I'll be back in a moment and we'll do some more. It's not surprising that most of us don't like change, but we are the first to say if things get boring, aren't we? And so we can lose interest in something in life. Our energy levels drop. We feel down. We think negatively. Psychologically, we feel lost. And spiritually, we don't feel nurtured. When we're pulling the Eight of Cups, it's telling us to do something about it. And that could suggest leaving your job, your career, home, country, family, partner, to find what you're seeking. Letting go of something or someone may feel very strange at first and lonely at times. But really, it's all because it's become the norm, habit, So once we explore something new, we wean ourselves from that habit and from that situation, and new doors then start to open. So the Eight of Cups can appear when you recognize that something's missing in your life, you feel a loss, and you're searching for something, even though there are a lot of things that you care about very deeply, very dear value to you as a person. And you might feel a huge void or emptiness and be lost because you know that in actual fact, you're off in the quest of something. And often the sense of this card and that the figure is walking away alone from those that he loves and cares about. And he's leaving something behind, but expecting to come back to them once he's found that missing piece. So he may need to go off and leave home and go into the world on his mission. He might need to make his way in life and experience what would be incredible loneliness even. We don't know, do we? And we've got our figure who is looking for that ninth cup. That's what's going on here. And he then wants to return back with the ninth cup and reclaim everything, but all together. But that might get lost forever because those cups might not be waiting for him when he comes back. So the Eight of Cups often appears when we are soul searching and we're embarking upon a journey of personal discovery. And we might have been examining our lives subjectively to form a different perspective. And this can often occur where we've been triggered by something or let down or betrayed by those that we thought were close, or we've had an upsetting incident or a situation, and it's disturbed the emotions within us. Sometimes it can occur upon reaching a milestone or a birthday, or even after bereavement. It's that sudden realization that everything in your life is now up in question. And you can't carry on taking things for granted, like people or your happiness, because it's disrupted. Running on maybe auto. And you may have gone through an awful lot, but now you've got to give it thought and feeling to your own happiness and your own needs. And you may have been catering for the others in your life and their needs for a long time, looking after everyone, making sure everyone else is happy. And so the Eight of Cups can be a wakey wakey card. It can be shining spotlight on you and telling you to don't let life slip you by. And looking at life, what have you got to show for what you've done? Are you who you want to be? Are you where you want to be? Are you feeling fulfilled? Is this it? Is this enough? Are you happy? Do you want more? The Eight of Cups wants to know, how are you? And really, what do you want in your life? Don't rush for answers. You've got to take one step at a time. But the Eight of Cups knows the answer, and there's a truth in you where you've got to put yourself first, and that's got to come from within. And when this card comes up in a reading, it's letting you know that there are more areas of your life that you have yet to explore. The current cycle is over. You've done your time. Deep down, we know this. So it's a card of telling us We may need to start moving in a different direction or a new direction that will have an emotional resonation with you. And that will help you in your spiritual evolution and in your personal life. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's just something where you need to tap into that potential. So it's a card of searching for your journey far and wide and looking for the answers and the deeper meanings. So it's a time to go beyond what's superficial and concentrate on what is essential and to not get caught in stuff. Because that's where we've been lurking, in the swamps. Now we've got to go in search of finding you and what makes you happy and what's your own truth. So this journey and search that is suggested by the Eight of Cups may happen externally. And that could be such as relocating or traveling or going through some sort of holistic therapy or some sort of spiritual enlightenment courses, meditation, books, counseling even. But the inner and outer work needs to be done. And that could be as simple as, and I've said this before, take yourself off to the beach because you will be inspired by the elements. They're all there. You've got the air, you've got the sky, you've got the earth, the terrain, the sand, you've got the water, you've got the fire, the sun. Even if the sun's not out, it's behind the clouds, it doesn't disappear. And that can be enough to start that inner search. So some sort of outer work like that needs to be done. And so we need to take ourselves and withdraw from the rat race to focus on what we need to hear that's worth listening to, i.e. our inner voice, just your own thoughts and feelings. And we can't do that amidst the rat race and the noise. And there may be a lot of superficial and shallow layers that will come your way and will need to be peeled away. Some layers will shed more easily than others, and some you might just voluntarily discard. But people around you might cling. And that might bring a significant challenge to overcome and represent some aspects of personality, because you may not be acting in your own highest interest. So it may require that you leave all of your emotional baggage behind. And it might mean that we need to listen to what your heart and your soul is truly desiring. So the Eight of Cups assures you that you do have that strength to carry it through. Major transformation can occur with the potential for genuine happiness. Externally, you might be seeking to change your image or something else in your life. You might have been pleasing other people. Maybe it's in your dress, maybe it's in your group, it's in your friends, with your partner, with family, and maybe you've got to explore, who am I? So it's no longer wishing to keep up with the trends, but creating something more personal. Sometimes this outward change is the holistic transformation that's making a statement about the real you. And it's a time for your person to shine from both inside and outside. One of the easiest ones is to make that outward transformation so that people start to take you seriously. When the Eight of Cups appears in a reading, it's a sign that you do have the emotional strength and you may be leaving current situation that's no longer serving any happiness or emotional fulfillment. But it's not something that's happened overnight. It's something that you felt the need to break away from in person for some time. So a flat or a dull feeling went into feeling apathy, lethargy, and falling further and further into feeling tired or just bored or even slightly down. But when we vocalize it to others, it makes it real. And sometimes it might be we just need to reach our lowest point before our inner strength kicks in, supports us, and shows us what is necessary and what painful things may need to be done. So when we reach that point, we either decide to stay down and surrender to our situation, or we pull ourselves out of it. So the Eight of Cups tells you that regardless of how difficult it's going to be, it may be because you want this very deeply, deep down. Now that we recognize that something needs to be done, we need to be able to connect with how we feel and put our feelings first. And if we're caught up in this or toxic or negative situation or people, the Eight of Cups suggests that it's time to withdraw and move away from it because the problem's just going to stay the same. And it's in your interest to distangle yourself and emotionally move away, just like our figure, move higher levels, go on to a different vibe because you've been worn down on different levels. And this card often implies that we are exhausted and weary, but we have to keep continuing regardless. And you may feel that you've got no choice, but if you're able to just get out a little bit to heal, recoup, and rest, then the Eight of Cups is one of those cards that symbolically tells you you're starting on that emotional journey, which also represents travel. Maybe on foot, doesn't matter. The travel suggested can be anything, as long as we feel that we are able to move to a different place, to not just stay in stagnation emotionally that no longer has any meaning. This might coincide with finding that you are, without even trying, you are connecting with like-minded people. And maybe there are workshops, courses, places of peace, restoration, healing, rejuvenation, and all that's coinciding with being meaningful. So it's exploring those new areas and heading to new directions. And all the eights in the cards, and we've got the strength card too, which is the number of 8, of course, today being the 8th, as I pointed out, the 8th of the 8th, do indicate that you've got the emotional courage to walk away. And the 8 of Cups can also suggest abandonment from our lives, walking away, leaving behind all sorts of things. Sometimes it's just an absolute must to leave. So some more key words are, because we felt disappointment, abandonment, that's what we want to do. We want to withdraw or even to escape. And it's about saying you want to try again. Feeling that I'm walking away, it doesn't matter. Because in the 8 of Cups, we see this man walking away from those 8 cups that we see in the foreground. And the cups are arranged to look like one's missing. And so that is a sign that emotional fulfillment and happiness or wholeness is lacking. And so this card is showing us that the man has turned his back on those cups, feeling lost, disappointed, and he's shuffling away for the mountains. A nearby river symbolizes his emotions. Mountains represent the awareness that this is not going to be an easy journey. It may be through necessity to find true long-term happiness. And again, that moon in the sky is illuminating the path ahead. So the man is leaving in the dead of night, hoping to go unnoticed, suggesting that this card is about escaping or avoidance even. So when this shows up in a reading, you might be feeling compelled to leave a disappointing situation behind. You might be abandoning life as you know it, such as relationships, careers, a job, living arrangements, creative projects that once maybe have been a great source of happiness, but now we just don't feel connected, or it's bringing you pain. And so you might have invested yourself emotionally, but we're feeling disappointed despite our very best efforts. It's just not turning out how we expected it to. Or we realize that we're no longer getting anything back or out of this situation. So the only choice is to put it behind you and move on and keep going forwards in life, even if it does make you sad to say goodbye. So the Eight of Cups always suggests that you sense that something is missing, and it's on deep emotional or spiritual level. So instead of waiting for things to improve, we've got to leave that unfulfilling situation. And it might not make sense to others or even you, because on the face of it, it looks like you've got everything that you've wished for. But deep down inside, you know it's not serving your higher self or your highest good. And it's time to let go and move on. So the Eight of Cups signifies that you're probably trying to escape a problematic emotional situation or avoid some significant psychological issues or concerns. The cups in the foreground represent the emotional issues that remain real and present in our lives. We can repress those emotions and refuse to have open conversations with others, pretending everything's okay, and try and avoid making this complete journey. But the Eight of Cups will keep coming back to invite you to ask yourself, where is your joy? Where is your contentment? Where do you need that fulfillment on a deeper level? Because without it, you might pursue goals that fail to give you that satisfaction that you are seeking. You might think being a long-term relationship is what you wanted, but when you manifested it, you realized it's not what you wanted, that there's a deep soul connection with yourself that you are searching for, and this isn't it. There's got to be more. And if that's not there, the relationship that we're in will not fulfill our needs, no matter how long you stay put. So if you're going around in cycles or repeatedly in situations, sometimes this is saying you've got no choice but to walk away and spend some time exploring where you will find happiness and realign your goals, maybe, and your values, your work, finances, career. If this comes up and somebody's asking about a work-related matter, the Eight of Cups is telling us that the career path is no longer serving the person who's having the reading. And they're indeed ready to move on because they're bored, burnt out, valued, not appreciated. So it's time, this comes up in a career reading, to start looking for a job elsewhere, or maybe even consider a new career, so a change of direction. If this comes up in a financial reading, it's maybe about walking away from something that's struggling, maybe a business, especially if it's not going well and it's not showing improvements. If this is something where we're looking at what is the personality of Eight of Cups, this personality is very spiritual and they are deeply connected to their emotional fulfillment. And they also know what is not serving them well. And so they know when to walk away. The Eight of Cups personality does not tolerate boredom or apathy or lack of inspiration. They're the people that quickly move on and find something that brings maximum satisfaction. So at times, this person might avoid challenging situations, especially those of an emotional nature. They will choose to change direction rather than face obstacles head on. If this is a romance reading or relationships and love, the Eight of Cups probably tells the person having the reading, the current, that they might need some time out. And if they're not in a relationship, to avoid them at this point. It's a time for connecting with one's soul, and healing from past disappointments is probably much more critical. It's probably not in their interest to accept a new relationship because they're not at their best. If they're in an established relationship, the Eight of Cups probably suggests just giving themselves time to explore aspects of themselves. And maybe they've tried to work things out, but the core issues are remaining. And maybe it's time to move on and do something different. But it's one of those cards that says, once you go exploring, you can always come back to the situation. It just depends how long you leave them. So the Eight of Cups, if it comes up and somebody's asking about their spiritual selves, is a big one. It's about undertaking a massive spiritual quest, journey, where you're leaving behind the emotional and the physical attachments to get to the core of your inner being. This is about looking at maybe taking a sabbatical or looking at your lifestyle, what you eat, or well-being, things that will help you connect with your higher self and leaving behind unhealthy attachments. And that can be not just people, but it can be our diet and our lifestyle. And it's about trying to make sure that you are looking at avoiding things that call your attention to potential areas in your life that bring stress or tension, and to avoid becoming burnt out or emotionally exhausted. So it's a card of saying you need to take a break from this busy life. Sometimes it's a card of, do I stay or do I go? My podcast, Thursday podcast, and that Thursday podcast is all about learning tarot like we are tonight, going through the cards. What it looks like, if you want to go through the cards, is from the Fool right down through the Major Arcana, through the Swords, 1 to 10. We haven't done court cards yet. You'll find them in the podcast, but they will go in there when we get round to doing. You'll find that on my YouTube channel, Tarot with Anne-Marie. So there you are. Okay. A card of knowing whether to stay or go. Being caught between a disappointing situation or walking away to make life better. And I suppose the real question is, people say, but will it really improve the situation? We don't know. You've got to check on your intuition and determine what you should be doing. And in the Eight of Cups, it's paired with a Major Arcana card. It will tell you the area, that you need to look at, and to look and see what it is, in which area. Maybe it's the Hanged Man, maybe you've got the Chariot. We'll be doing those, by the way, on Tuesday. And Eight of Cups invites you to listen to your heart about what action to take. Plenty of people around you will have an opinion, but they probably won't want you to walk away because they want things to remain the same. But you've got to work out whether this situation is serving you. and you need to be mindful of what you want and try and align with your goals and your dreams. Sometimes when we've got the Eight of Cups, it can show that we're just drifting from one place to the next and we don't know where we're going. And people say, oh, the grass is greener on the other side. It's important that you don't look at things like abandonment from your life. You look at it more as a spiritual journey. And this man that's cloaked in red with his red boots is symbolic of giving us that push, that confidence, and connecting to our chakra, base chakra, and to help us drive forwards in ourself, in that quest. We have to just look at the soul-searching journey to try and ascend to a higher emotional place. And so in this card, the figure's showing us he's leaving something behind that they've spent a lot of effort and care. And they've nurtured it and they've developed it. And of course, it's a disappointment. But look how he's carefully stacked those goblets. And he's leaving it behind on good terms. And he's looking for more than material success. It's emotional and a search for a higher meaning. So this is a card of just looking at your own spiritual journey where we're looking to release something, deep reflection, and that full moon suggests that it's very powerful, full of strength, full of transformation. But it's also a time of change because we know that rocky waters suggest a lot of disturbances in our emotions and consciousness. This is one of those things where we need to do what is right for ourselves. And emotionally, we need to leave behind something we love and care for. And if it's meant to be that we come back to it, we will. But everything has growth, everything has momentum, and everything has change. And in the quest for change, no one said it was going to be easy. And it's about finding oneself and taking responsibility for our lives and not looking at others to make us happy. The buck stops with us. And we're responsible. And sometimes we make excuses because we can't bear the thought that we're going to disrupt things forever. Something's missing. It's about going in search of that missing cup to make that gap on the top line of those cups, make us feel whole. And so the eclipse of that sun means that this is an outward and inward search inside our cups. One of those emotionally deep cards, spiritual quest, not all bad, that's for sure. And something that we must say, what makes me happy? How can I connect on a level where I'll be serving my higher self? And so it's a card of actually saying everything goes through a period of change and through a period of growth, isn't it? And so when we are in a place in a space where we can actually fulfill our highest good, we're taking accountability and responsibility in our lives, and we can always come back to that situation. Never feel that it is just abandonment. We can go on a journey. Okay, I hope you enjoyed tonight's tutorial, and do make sure that if you are enjoying the tarot, that you have a look at the podcast, as I mentioned to you. And this day, I will be showing you how to use the Eight of Cups with Major Arcana cards and how we can connect it in a reading by using the Major card. Don't miss Tuesdays. Have a wonderful weekend, seeing as it's Thursday, the 8th. Until next time, everybody, thanks for watching and take care of yourselves and each other. I'll be playing you out with this. Bye for now.